All right. Yes. Give me 30 seconds. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. It's Friday night, and I am live here talking football. Very excited, very excited. Double checking myself here. I am posting to you live from Facebook. I'm on YouTube, of course, and I'm also streaming to you live on the Twitterverse. It was kind of ironic. I was just kind of going through social media and ESPN right before I came on, and David Njoku just signed. My phone. A 4-year, $56.75 million deal. They got $230 million to Deshaun Watson, $20 million. This is guaranteed money. To Nick Chubb, $60 million guaranteed to Amari Cooper, and $28 million to David Njoku. Really surprised about this. Really, really surprised. The reason why I'm surprised about this is that he's making almost as much money as Travis Kelce. For those of you who don't know, his story was a wide receiver, went down to University of Miami, bulked up a little bit, grew a little bit, ACC high jumping champion, only played 11 games, but due to the immense athleticism, left college, went to the NFL. Never really materialized. I was kind of surprised that with all the money they gave Watson that they would do this contract, but there was talk about how much money Travis Kelce was making. Travis Kelce wisely stated that, hey, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to win rings. And when you're 34, trying to hold out for more money is never a good idea. So I think Kelce did a smart thing here. Speaking of social media, some guy from PFF tried to tell me that everybody hates the Bengals. There's no reason the Bengals shouldn't be getting more publicity. And I respond, well, you have 5 straight losing seasons, and it's a Super Bowl. And he was like, well, everybody hates us. When other teams do it, it's good coaching. We do it's a fluke. Well, I'm bringing that up because one of these 8 teams that finished dead last will win the division and go to the playoffs, maybe even have a Super Bowl. One of these 8 teams, so I'm going to go over these 8 teams that finished last in their division and break down how they can win the division and advance to the playoffs. Slasher, man. Yo, what's up, Dan? Slasher, man. I'm jacked up, brother. I am very, very happy to hear from you. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? It's actually funny because I was planning on starting with the NFC East first, man. So, man, I'm jacked up, man. No coffee today because last time I did coffee and an energy drink. I have like just a bare minimum of an energy drink left. Homeland! Man, it is great to see you again. I have not reached out to you and Corey, but I really should because I'd like to, over the next couple of weeks, try to get more people together and see if I can get somebody else to come on the show. So, man, I need to get a hold of you guys because I'd really like to get some different people in here and talk about some different things. I really want to hear from other teams because people in Kansas City have been going nuts. For those of you who don't know, there's like, mini camps are going on, and Kansas City signed undrafted free agent Justin Ross out of Clemson. For those of you who don't know, 5-star recruit, first-round talent, then had spinal fusion surgery, came back, didn't look like the same player, big injury risk, big upside, and he's had some really impressive plays during OTAs. Patrick Mahomes mentioned him. There's a thing on social media where he had this one-handed catch. Last year, the Chiefs took a flyer on somebody with a medical issue, Trey Smith, in the 6th round. Ended up starting an OTAs, day one starter, and I think he went to a Pro Bowl. Really deserved it too. Just phenomenal job. So 6th round pick going to a Pro Bowl his rookie season. A big reason why Kansas City advanced to the AFC conference title. But people are going nuts over Justin Ross. I've been telling everybody, just pump your brakes. I mean, pump your brakes. Some people think that he's going to start day one. But I'd love to hear from other teams. Is there anybody that's flashed during OTAs that I should know about? Is there anybody who's not been, who's been under the radar that I should know about? Oh, dude, thanks, man. I got this really cheap. Love the movie. Big Quentin Tarantino fan. And I got this. Everything I buy clothing wise, I get dirt cheap, except for shoes. I got pins in my foot from a motorcycle accident. I spend money on shoes. But all the shirts I get, but this is one of my all-time favorite shirts. Really, really love this shirt. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I am not on drugs. Homeland reports Dan's on his cocaine. Everyone be prepared. I'm glad. I'm kind of glad that other people are aware of him. Justin Ross is a big red flag. Hope he pans out though. He's got the athlete. Yeah, he does. And he's making a buddy of mine. We're in a group text, and he's like, "Yeah, I think he's going to be." Because I'm not sure he makes the team. Justin Ross even makes the team. Currently, the Chiefs have 13 wide receivers on their roster, and I know 4 is going to make the team, minimum 4. And I'm like, well, are the Chiefs going to keep 5? Last year, the Chiefs were an anomaly where they had 6 receivers and 4 tight ends, and I'm not sure he goes through, so you might have to put him on waivers, try to get him on the practice squad, and it's going to be interesting. But if he does pan out, he does have the athletic ability, but you have the medical issue, and then even after he came back, he didn't really look the same. He really didn't look the same. Some people blame the quarterback situation. Smartly, a lot of people blame the offensive line, which really had a lot of players leave to the NFL. Clemson's going to be a team that I'm going to try to watch a lot more this year. I say this every year. I'm going to watch more college football, and I don't. So, yeah, he does. He does. I'm still not sure he makes the team, though. Hutchinson had 3 back-to-back sacks against third-string offense. That's actually a good sign. And I'm not going to pay for it, James. James, great to see you, brother. I'm not going to pay for Hard Knocks. I have something called Plex. It's a shareware, and I do have Hard Knocks requested, so somebody has to share it. I kind of don't want to go over how Plex works, but I may not be able to see Hard Knocks live, but the second it comes out, I'm going to watch as much as I possibly can. I'm really looking forward to it. I have YouTube TV, which I don't sign up for until football season. I may sign up for it. before the Hall of Fame game. More than likely, it'll probably be right before the Chiefs' first preseason game. But I want to watch a lot of preseason football, and I definitely want to see lots of the Lions. But this is a good sign. This is a very good sign for the Detroit Lions. Devontae Parker and Mac Jones have already created such a nice connection. That on top of Bourne has been phenomenal so far. Tyquan Thornton has been really good as well. Cole Strange has surprised me. Well, Cole Strange will be a day one starter. And Thornton, for those of you who don't know, the Patriots and the Chiefs switched picks. The Patriots jumped up to 50. The Chiefs went to 54. And the Patriots chose Thornton at 50. And the Chiefs chose Sky Moore at 54. Most people feel like Sky Moore was a much better prospect than Thornton. But the one thing about Thornton, for those of you who don't know, Tyquan Thornton had the fastest 40 time at the combine, ran a 4.28 from Baylor. A lot of people feel like it was a reach because very limited route tree. Basically, even though he's 6'2", kind of a limited type of player, but he does have the 4.28 speed. Plus, he is 6'2", like 180. But one of the things that Patriots have tried to do, and Homeland is our Patriots expert, you tell me, is the Patriots really wanted to add a lot of speed to both the offensive and defensive skill positions. They wanted to add receiver speed. They added running back. The running back, I forget which school he went to. It was a small school. I want to say it was South Dakota State, something like that. But anyway, the running back who ran the fastest 40 time, the Patriots took him, I think, in the 4th or 5th round. I don't have the numbers in front of me. They drafted 2 smaller, faster corners. Corners excel in man type coverage. Pierre Strong, yeah. They picked him up. I don't remember the college 4th or 5th round. And fastest running back at the combine, Tyquan Thornton, the fastest player at the combine, ran a 4.28. By the way, he runs 4.28 on the field too, but like I said, kind of limited route tree, not a complete wide receiver. Most people would agree that coming out of the combine, Sky Moore was a better player. But the Patriots, one of the goals that they had this offseason was to get faster. They added some speed at corner. They added speed at running back. They added speed at wide receiver. And this is something that was very important. Devontae Parker has all the tools to be a number one wide receiver. He can't stay healthy. And they kind of decided that just, hey, we're not even going to mess with him when the new regime came over from to Miami. I think, what was it? Like you switched the 5th round pick. It was like Devontae Parker and a 6th round pick, and the Patriots shipped back a 5th or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, but I thought this was a brilliant under the radar move by the Patriots because you get a guy with potential number one talent. 10th overall pick from Louisville, a guy that tall, fast, athletic, all the tools to be number one wide receiver, just can't stay healthy. But and then Cole Strange, he's going to be a day one starter. He's going to be a good football player. Overdrafted in the 1st round, but I mean, he's going to be a day one starter. He's going to replace Shaq Mason. So I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm very high on the Patriots this year. Very, very high on the Patriots. DJ Chark caught a nice pass from Goff. This is another move. Now, this is a number 2 wide receiver, DJ Chark, a guy I absolutely loved coming out of LSU. Ran 4.31 to combine. Very similar player as Tyquan Thornton, except DJ Chark coming out of LSU, I thought had much more potential. Really hasn't panned out, injury issues, but this is a guy that Detroit really needs. Deep speed, big play potential, limited ability as far as his route tree. Not a guy like on 3rd and 7 is going to run that, that slant route and sit in the zone and make those tough catches. He's not that guy. But considering what you have, because you have a really good tight end, Amon-Ra St. Brown really elevated his play. I no disrespect to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I always thought that his ceiling would be a really solid number 2. You get a guy like DJ Chark, a very solid player, very solid number 2 guy. But you have DJ Chark who can stretch the field and create a lot of things underneath for you have Hawkinson, and then you also have Amon-Ra St. Brown. So Amon-Ra St. Brown will do that like 3rd and 7, that slant route to get the first down. That's the guy you want making that catch. You want TJ Hawkinson. It wouldn't surprise me if DeAndre Swift ends up leading the team in receptions, and I think he should because he's a guy that can score from anywhere on the field. This is a very good player for the Patriots. I'm not saying this just trying to butter you up. I'm very high on the Patriots this year. Not a lot of people are, but I really and their corners they took, I really like both those players. Really like both those players. Very high on Patriots. This was kind of what I wanted to figure out, or really what I wanted to build during the off season was a community of smart football fans that come together and let me know these things. God, I know it is not cocaine. Man, James Bradbury, Darius Slay going to be dangerous. But and don't forget about Avonte Maddox. This is a guy who started, and I always thought really, as much as I like Avonte Maddox, this is a guy that really should be a slot. And he played outside, and he didn't play bad. But now you get these 3 guys together in your base package, and I say base because the nickel is now the new base, and the NFC East, you're going to have pretty much a passing offense. A passing division. All right, the Cowboys are a passing team. The Giants are going to be a passing team. I'm going to start off with talking about the Giants, but Brian Daboll, who was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, a pass-heavy team. And that's one thing Buffalo said that they wanted to do is they wanted to be more of a running team. But I expect the Giants to be a pass-happy team. The Cowboys are a pass-happy team. So you're going to see a lot of nickel formations. You also get somebody, Nakobe Dean. He's a guy I think is going to excel in pass coverage at one of the linebackers positions. By the way, if you haven't already, Kazir White was with the Chargers last year. I am very glad he's gone. This was a very good player, led the Chargers in tackles. He can do everything. He's a very good player. You guys stole him in free agency. I think that's one of the really under the radar moves nobody's talking about. But Kazir White signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. He's going to be a stud. I thought he would get like a 3-year, $30-40 million deal. He could do everything. And man, I'm going to talk about this more in the upcoming months. And like I said, I'm going to start off. I was going to talk about the NFC and AFC East first, Giants and the Jets. But as of today, as of right now, the Eagles are my pick to win the NFC East. They did a lot of really good things, man. I want to say this about the Lions. They may have the second pick and near the worst record in the league, but the Lions weren't as bad as the record showed. One of the things I always do when I break down teams, and I'm going to talk about the Lions here in a bit, is that I take when I look at a team and how they're going to do next year, I always look at how they finished the season. Well, off the top of my head, without looking it up, is that they started the season, I think, 0-10. And you were on the show, people are like, oh, they're going to go winless. They're going to go winless. I was like, no, they're definitely not going winless. And then they finished the season very strong. I think they finished 3-4-1. So when I look at how a team's going to do in 2022, how'd they finish 2021? Well, they finished really strong. And Lions fans hate when I say this, but it's true. Dan Campbell's on the hot seat. All right. Dan Campbell's probably my number one coach on the hot seat. You can't have 3 wins in your first season, go into season number 2 and think that you're safe. It's very rare that you can have, double-digit losses in 2 seasons and keep your job for season 3. But this team fought hard every single game. Every single game, this team didn't quit. This team seemed to rally. This team seemed to fight. The talent is I think that the Lions really need to upgrade their talent. I don't know if you watched my draft video. Everybody loved my draft video. No, it's just the opposite. Everybody hated it, but I gave the Lions a bad grade on the draft. I gave the Patriots a bad grade too. But I really thought the Lions would do more in free agency in the drafts because I really felt like the Lions really needed a talent infusion. I thought that they were going to blow up the team like what Gruden did with the Raiders and like Miami Dolphins previous coach did. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. 20 minutes into the show and I drew a name blank, but I had a coach that's suing the NFL. Now he's with the Steelers. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Brian Flores. I thought the Lions were going to do that because John Dorsey is the assistant general manager in Detroit. He was the general manager in Kansas City in 2013 when Andy Reid came here, and him and Andy Reid just blew up the Chiefs roster completely. I mean, it was literally out of the 53 starters. All right, bug just flew in. I think it was like 40 new players. And I really thought the Lions were going to do something like that. And they didn't. So, but the Lions are a team. I'm going to go over to 8 teams that finished dead last. And I'm going to talk about how those 8 teams could be in first because it happened with the Bengals last year. And I didn't go back every single year, but there's a lot. It's a trend. It's a trend where a last place team becomes a first place team the next year. And if you go back through NFL history, this happens almost every year. One of these 8 last place teams, one of these 8 is going to win the division. One of these 8 is going to the playoffs, maybe more than one. All right, my nose itches. Is not cocaine. They had so many games that they lost by 1 possession, and they came back a lot. I mean, almost every game that they were down, they always came back. They always fought. There was never a lack of effort, and I'm really surprised when you have a coach who wins 3 games his first season. Normally, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you got to go. You got to get out of here. We need to find a different coach." Nobody's saying that about Dan Campbell. They love this guy, which shows a lot of yeah. And we're going to talk about that. The Lions and the other 7 teams that finished dead last in the division. I'm going to talk about all of these teams in detail and explain how they can go from worst to first. Avonte Maddox, strictly slot. Yeah, he's like 5'9", 5'10". He doesn't have that ideal outside cover size. My nose really itches. I promise it's not cocaine. But he did play well. You had a former Chief last year. I'm drawing a blank on his first name, Nelson. I forget where he went. But anyway, he's like 5'9" as well, and he played well. The thing is, though, Maddox played well on the outside, but he's an ideal slot guy, and Bradbury's definitely an upgrade. So you took a position that you needed, okay, because the Giants are going to be a passing team. The Cowboys, number 1 scoring team in the NFL last year, they're obviously a pass-first team. God, my nose really itches. It is not cocaine. And now you have an upgrade, plus you used – what was it? The 13th pick overall on Adams. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. Jordan. I'm sorry, not Adams. Jordan Davis. And then you re-signed Fletcher Cox. The one thing I will say is that I'm a little concerned that you're going to experiment, try to do that hybrid defense. I've seen teams do this and absolutely fail. That's one thing that really bothers me because I've seen teams try to do that. Another name freeze, but the Washington Commanders, Ron Rivera, his last year in Carolina, they tried doing that. They tried running a 4-3-3-4 hybrid, and it just exploded in their face. And he's in Washington now. Yeah, Avonte Maddox, one of my favorite players. Really love Avonte Maddox. All right, so I'm going to start with the East, the AFC and the NFC East. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jets and the Giants. I'm going to start with the Giants, how the Giants can go from first to worst, okay? I'm sorry, worst to first. The one thing I like about the Giants is they signed an offensive coordinator. By the way, both Super Bowl teams had young offensive coordinators become head coaches with no head coaching experience, and they went to a Super Bowl, all right? Zach Taylor in his third season, first 2 years in Cincinnati, did horrible, only won 6 games. Then he took the Bengals to the Super Bowl last year. I'm a lot of name drops here, so I apologize. The Rams, everybody knows about their head coach, one of the best head coaches, Sean McVay. It took me a second. Youngest head coach in football over the last several years, the McVay tree. Anybody who's looked at Sean McVay has gotten a head coaching job. Young offensive coordinator, no head coaching experience. The Rams have been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, of course, last year. So Brian Dable's kind of a trend there. Young offensive mind. When he got there, he helped Josh Allen. Josh Allen was not a good quarterback his first 2 years in the NFL. Under Brian Dable, he went from being not a good quarterback. Some people feel like he's the MVP favorite right now, Josh Allen. Some people feel like he's the best quarterback in football. I am not one of them, but I think he's an elite quarterback. And this is what Brian Dable is able to do. The Bills' offense was as good as any offense last year. Pass-happy offense. Very exciting, very dynamic offense, and he brings that to New York. So how long is he going to take to turn that offense around? But really, the truth is with the Giants, offensively speaking, is that as Saquon Barkley is healthy, he's the most athletically gifted running back in the National Football League. He's the most athletically gifted running back. And when he's healthy, this Giants offense is dangerous because he can do everything. You know, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me, Saquon Barkley, if he plays 17 games, which probably won't happen. He actually should have over 100 catches. He actually should be the leading receiver. I said the same thing about DeAndre Swift. And it's rare that 230-pound running back who set every weightlifting record at Penn State is going to be the leading receiver and a threat to score anytime he touches the ball. But that's his type of player he is. Can't stay healthy. But if he is, the offense will be good. Defensively, 2 years ago, this defense was a really good unit, and they went ahead and drafted Kayvon Thibodeau. He's going to play opposite Ojulari, second-round pick out of Georgia last year, player I absolutely love. I thought they got Steele in the second round. And he was only a redshirt sophomore coming out of Georgia. I think he's going to start the season at 22. So they got like 2 outside linebackers that have got a world of potential. And then you have I almost said Leonard Marshall. Oh boy, another name freeze up front. I'm actually going to look this one up. I'm really embarrassed. I'm dropping so many names today, but it's the energy drink. I had a long day. I'm sorry, I'm dropping so many names too. Leonard Williams, that's the name I was trying to think of. So you got Leonard Williams, right? By the way, Leonard Williams is probably one of the best 50 players in the National Football League. Got banged up a little last year because the Giants weren't a very good team, and because he was banged up, you didn't hear as much about him. One of the best defensive linemen in the National Football League. He's really best as a pure 5 technique, but they're going to run a base nickel package. All the teams in the NFC East, which is a passing division, are going to run kind of a base nickel package. So you have these 2 young pass rushers. How long does it take them to get revved up? Because Ojulari led the team in sacks last year. I can't remember if it was 8.5 or 9.5, and he was only 21. I mean, he's just growing into his body. Thibodeau has an amazing amount of potential. Then you got a guy up front who's one of the best defensive linemen in all of football. Dexter Lawrence, former first-round pick, is also up there. Azeez Ojulari. That's what I was trying to think of. So you have a really, really good front seven. Really, really good front seven. The question is Saquon Barkley. Can he stay healthy? Slasher brings up a good point. Brian Dable is good, but I don't see him turning Daniel Jones into Josh Allen overnight. They had a great draft, and they can build off that in 2023 with a new quarterback. And that's the question is what the Daniel Jones situation, because he's shown flashes, but it's never been consistent. Part of that had to do with it. They built the offense around Saquon Barkley. Then he gets hurt. The receivers didn't really pan out. Wayndale Robinson, what was his name? Yeah, it was Wayndale Robinson. Probably my least favorite draft pick. Nothing against the player, but this is a guy probably should have gone 4th, maybe 5th round. They took him, I think it was 43rd overall, and I didn't like this draft pick at all, especially when you have Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard on your roster. So you have these two guys on your roster, and you draft another player early in the 2nd round who does pretty much the same thing. Kenny Galladay didn't really pan out either. They gave him a lot of money, and it didn't work out. So I agree with you. And the problem is that you're not going to have it's going to take some time with Daniel Jones. Now, if Daniel Jones pans out and he ends up being the guy that they were envisioning 4 years ago, you have a whole new set of problems, because you have to figure out, hey, now we got to pay the guy. And that's something I don't know that they really want to do either. But for this year, you got to figure out what to do with Daniel Jones. And if he does pan out and the Giants end up making that leap from worst to first, then you got to pay Daniel Jones. He's going to want 50, 60, 70 million. That's the going rate for star quarterbacks, especially in the Big Apple. You have to figure out a way to pay him. But how fast is he going to turn Daniel Jones around? Here's what I think is really going to happen. I think you're going to see a Giants team kind of struggle this year, but show some flashes. I don't think that they're the team that's going to go worst to first, but if they do, then it's because Daniel Jones played well, and then you got to figure out the way to pay him. I think that what you're going to see, though, is that you're going to see them getting a new quarterback in the 2023 draft. I think that they're going to try to trade up. I think they're going to take a quarterback high again, and I think they're going to move on. But Daniel Jones has to pan out. Saquon Barkley needs to stay healthy, and all that potential from Thibodeau and Ojulari, that needs to pan out fast. Ojulari had a really great rookie season, and Thibodeau should be the number 1 pass rusher. So if you get those two edge rushers with about 25 to 30 sacks, it sounds crazy. But realistically, those two guys should get between 25 and 30 sacks this year. Realistically, you're in a pass-happy division. So that's what would need to happen. Ojulari and Thibodeau need to pan out fast. Daniel Jones will need to do a poor man's Josh Allen impression. He's got to do it fast. They didn't re-sign him to that 5th-year deal. So after this year, his contract's done. Barkley needs to stay healthy. Hasn't been able to do it since his rookie season. Even his rookie season, he missed a couple games. Next up is New York Jets. And this is a team that had a big youth movement last year. Zach Wilson's got a lot of potential. They went ahead and gave $50 million to Corey Davis. I thought that was a kind of a mistake because he's really a number 2 wide receiver, not really a number 1 guy. They drafted Elijah Moore in the 2nd round, and Denzel Mims, a guy who's got a world of potential, just hasn't panned out yet. But it's going to be really interesting to see what the Jets do. And one of the things about the Jets is that I pulled it up because I got embarrassed at how many name drops I was doing. So I pulled up depth chart on ESPN, and this isn't right, by the way. But the question is Mekhi Becton. He was the number one pick, I think 11th overall a couple years ago. And I wasn't sure how he would fit into the new offense that Robert Saleh was bringing with him. He brought over the 49ers. I think it was like run game or pass game coordinator to want to run that Niners type of offense, which really is kind of a variation off the. I'm calling it the zone read. It's not really accurate. The zone read's kind of a different move, but it's a different offense. It's a college offense. That's not really what they're running. But basically, the offense that they want to bring requires quickness and mobility from their linemen. Kai Becton, for those of you who don't know, was the 6'7", 6'8", 370-pounder out of Louisville, just an earth mover. Couldn't stay healthy last year. Now, ESPN has him starting on the right side. I don't think that's the case because he's actually still banged up, but he's going to compete for the left tackle spot. If he's the player that he was his rookie season when he was healthy, one of the bright young players on that Jets team, maybe their best offensive player as a rookie, just a guy for world of potential. Then you get Elijah Vera Tucker, their first round pick. He's a guy who's going to be really good on the offensive line. They gave, I think it was 40 or 50 million to Laken Tomlinson, an earth mover on the offensive line. If that offensive line pans out, this Jets team could be really, really good because Zach Wilson, they just kind of threw into the fire last year. I thought it was a bad move because this is a guy I thought really needed to sit, but he learned on the fly. He got better as the year went on. And they also had a great draft. They got Garrett Wilson. A lot of people thought that he was the number one receiver in the draft. He was the second receiver drafted. Solid pick to upgrade a young, talented wide receiver core. Breece Hall, easily my number. Well, no disrespect to Kenneth Walker, but I had Breece Hall as my number one running back. He'll be a day one starter. So this offense added skill position talent. And then defensively, Carl Lawson got injured in preseason. They gave him a $50 million. Actually, I think it was 50 on a 3-year deal. He got injured in preseason. I had high expectations from Carl Lawson going into the season. Once I find out that he got injured and the other defensive end, Vinny Curry, got injured. When I was in Vegas, right before the season started, the win total didn't adjust for these injuries. It stayed at 6. So I'm like, yeah, they're not winning 6 games. So I put $100. The Jets were a fluke team. I didn't really want to bet on the Jets, but the over-under didn't adjust from 6. So I went ahead and put $100 on them. I got negative 160, which is a terrible number, but I had to do it. I had to put money down on the Jets because I thought that they were going to be actually worse than they were. They were a 4-win team. I thought they could have been a 2-win team. But you got Carl Lawson. He's coming back. Vinny Curry is on the roster. I'm kind of surprised. I think this is a mistake from ESPN because he ended up with like some sort of blood. I think it was a blood disorder, but I think his days are over. But this defense could be really, really good because you get Carl Lawson back. You have John Franklin Myers. You traded back in the first round. You got Jermaine Johnson, who I don't know how you're going to keep this guy on the bench. I think in this defense could be really good. Quinnen Williams is a guy who's just got immense potential. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. And then they got my number one corner, Sauce Gardner. It'll be very interesting how it's going to work out because they had a rookie last year in Breece Hall. Breece Hall probably would have been a first or second round pick, but he broke his leg in the middle of the season. His college season, I think he arrived at camp healthy, ended up getting a starting job. So those two guys are going to fight. You got DJ Reed, who they picked up from Seattle. So Slasher says, it's just me or Sauce Gardner way too hyped up and cocky. If he has a bad rookie season, it's going to be hell for him. Yeah. I really liked Sauce Gardner. And I think he's in a good situation here because they don't really require a lot of man coverage. It's really the defense that they're running is really predicated on getting pressure with that front four. They're going to use that wide nine style of defense. It's funny because a lot of people don't look at it like the Tampa 2 defense, but it really is the Tampa 2 defense, believe it or not. It's kind of a variation of it, but they use a lot of single high safety. But there's a lot of similarities that are between the two defenses. But what the Jets are going to do is that they're going to ask him not to play a lot of man. They're going to put him in a zone, and they're going to ask the jam the receiver, get him off the base, and allow that front four, which is spread out, to attack the defense. So I think it's a good defense for him. But as far as being cocky, you want that in a corner, and that's a good thing. I like the fact that they got two really big, tall corners, and they got a guy in DJ Reed who's a smaller corner, but he played really well on the outside with Seattle last year, and they gave him a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out because I think the Jets could. He's got to play good early. He's got to play good early. He's got a lot of potential, but it's a big difference playing at Cincinnati and New York. He's going to find out that the amount of coverage that he got in college and the amount of news coverage media is a lot different in New York. New York's a big media market. Cincinnati's not. He does. Slasher is 100% correct. He's got some tough matchups. You're not going against Tulsa, Navy, East Carolina. You got some tough matchups. You got to be good, and you got to be good fast. If the Jets are going to advance, he's got to play good right away. But in this defense, they don't ask their corners to do as much as they do in other defenses. So that's the good thing. He'll have an opportunity to play well right away. DJ Reed, the defense that they ran in Seattle last year, and the defense that Robert Saleh runs, very, very similar. He should have a good year. Well, I'm kind of looking at their depth chart here. They had a third-round pick, Ashton Davis, last year, who ended up playing some. Marcus May, who signed with the Saints, off the top of my head, he didn't look comfortable at all in this defense. I was kind of surprised, but didn't really look comfortable. Ashton Davis was a guy that I really like, but according to ESPN, he's going to be a backup. And that's kind of an interesting story. That's something I kind of want to pay attention to. I don't think we have any Jets fans here, but who's going to start in the secondary? Is Sauce Gardner a day one starter on the outside guaranteed, or is Bryce Hall going to play opposite? What do you do with DJ Reed? I'd like to know all these things, but the secondary positions got to work out. I thought CJ Mosley wouldn't fit into this defense, but he really did. He's just a tackling machine. I think last year he had something like 160 some tackles in this defense. That actually worked out perfect for him. What are they going to do on the defensive line? Is John Franklin Myers and Carl Lawson going to be the starters, or are you just having Jermaine Johnson come in every now and then? This has to be worked out. It has to be worked out fast. Plus, that offensive line needs to be worked out. They added some skill position talent. I really personally, when I look at the Jets, I'm kind of surprised to say this, but this is a team that is built the right way, and it's built to succeed, but not this year. I just think that this is a team that really needs to jump up next year. If they can keep this team together and improve their play throughout the season in 2023, I could see the Jets being a very dangerous, very talented team. but I think they're a year away. Where the Giants could be good this year. I think the Giants are much more likely to go from worst to first than the Jets are. I think the Jets, look at the division that they're in. I mean, you got the Bills, the AFC favorite, Patriots, playoff team from last year. Miami, the expectations are very high in South Beach. In 2023, it would not surprise me if they can keep everybody together and they get better. It wouldn't surprise me if that later in the season they end up playing better, and in 2023 they're a threat to go to the playoffs. But not this year. But again, every year some team goes worst to first. I think the Giants are more likely than the Jets. So, Funk, what is up, brother, man? Funk says good morning. So what I decided is I'm going to talk about all the 8 cellar dwellers. And since you're here, the NFC North, the team that finished dead last is the Detroit Lions. How can the Detroit Lions go from worst to first? Okay. Number one thing about the Detroit Lions, and I really thought that they needed more of a talent upgrade. 2025 Jets Lions Super Bowl. I've seen weirder things, man. I've seen weirder things. Could happen in 2024. Could happen in 2024. But one of the things I really thought that they needed more of a talent infusion. The Lions did, but let's look at what they have. Penei Sewell, 6th overall pick from last year, played pretty good. They played a little bit on the left side. If Taylor Decker, the starting left tackle, can stay healthy, you have some good bookends. Frank Ragnow banged up a little bit. It's a really good center when healthy. Normally, when you have a team that's not good, you don't expect to have a solid, really good offensive line, but you do have one in Detroit. You have one of the better offensive lines in football. I don't see a number one wide receiver, but they jumped up in the draft. They used the 12th overall pick on Jameson Williams. I didn't like it, but if he ends up being the number one wide receiver, this ends up being a great move, because the one thing that the Lions really lacked last year in the receiving core was speed. Then they added DJ Chark. For those of you who don't know, at the Combine, he ran a 4.31. Jameson Williams, for those of you who don't know, had the injury in I'm going to call it the Final Four game. The national championship playoff, had that injury. The good news is that I've seen him on social media. He's not even in a boot. It looks like he might be even playing week 1, which is a lot sooner than I was expecting. When Hard Knocks comes up, that's the number one thing, is that I want to see, is he practicing? Is he going to be ready? But if he plays like he did in college, Amon-Ra St. Brown really was pretty solid last year. Hawkinson is a Pro Bowl caliber tight end. And DeAndre Swift is a guy that I absolutely loved. I wanted him to be on Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs drafted CEH. I wanted Swift. It wouldn't surprise me, just like with Saquon Barkley, if DeAndre Swift leads the team in receptions. This is a guy I want to have 100 catches. This is not a guy I want running in between the tackles. I want this guy on the outside to use that speed. For those of you, DeAndre Swift in college, I mean, the Georgia running backs have been amazing. All right. It started off Todd Gurley. Then it was Nick Chubb. Sony Michel was there. McCall Hardman, for those of you who are Chiefs fans, he was a 5-star running back who went to Georgia, and they're like, we got all these other guys. Can you play receiver? Switched over to receiver. Then it was DeAndre Swift, who was just as good as any one of those guys. The only thing is, though, he was smaller, but you ever play Madden on like the easy mode and your player moves faster than everybody else? That's what DeAndre Swift looked like in college. He didn't really look that way immediately with the Lions, but man, the talent's undeniable. You don't want this guy running in between the tackles. You want to get this guy in the open field, use his speed. You want to get him use the speed. But that's how the Lions are going to get, because you need to add speed and explosiveness on offense. This could be the year Green Bay takes a step back, but it's the Vikings division. That's interesting. One of the things I always do when it comes to teams is I always hesitate to anoint a rookie first-time head coach and just say, hey, you're going to be great, because you don't know what you're getting. Mike Zimmer, it was funny. I was just looking through social media, and there was apparently some disconnection or discontent between Mike Zimmer and Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was the rookie quarterback last year, third-round pick out Texas A&M, a guy I absolutely loved. And I actually thought there was a chance, and there still is, that he may end up starting a few games for the Vikings. I don't have the Vikings roster pulled up. I don't even know if he's the number 2 quarterback, but this is a guy who has some really, really high upside. And I really thought that in the offense that they were going to run last year, the offensive coordinator is John, I don't know, another name freeze. But anyway, the offensive coordinator is now in Denver. It's Gary Kubiak's kid. Going to run the Shanahan offense. And I thought that was a perfect offense for Kellen Mond. It's actually a good offense for Kirk Cousins as well. But Kellen Mond's type of quarterback that could excel in that type of offense. And they're going to run something very similar this year in Minnesota. But you really don't know what you're getting from a first-time head coach. I thought that Mike Zimmer was one of the best coaches in football, great defensive mind, and the defense just kind of fell apart. The offense played well, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. But to say that the Vikings are going to win the division, you really don't know. You got a guy who's never been a head coach before, an offensive-minded guy, different approach than Zimmer. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Green Bay could take a step back. They could also take a step forward. It's kind of funny because they were the number 1 team in the NFC last year. And the same thing can be said in the AFC, because the number 1 team in the AFC is Tennessee Titans. Both the Titans and the Packers, nobody is putting them at the top of their divisions. Nobody. Who are the 2 best teams in the NFC? And you're either going to say Tampa Bay or the Rams. You're not going to say Green Bay. And you're going to say, well, Green Bay lost, Devontae Adams, the top 10. If the NFL does the top 100, Devontae Adams last year, I think was 6. No, he was top 10. I don't remember which one, 5th or 6th, something like that. But you added some talent in Green Bay. You used both the 22nd and 28th pick on a pair of Georgia players. The defense wasn't bad. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun in the NFC North. Williams is already doing ladder drills and reportedly ran a 4.4. That is extremely optimistic. If you're a Lions fan, this is big time news. Big time news, because if he can play week 1, and here's the thing, here's why I hated this pick, is because I want this guy in practice as fast as possible, learning the offense, because I want the offense to be completely different than it was last year. Okay, so you get Williams with some speed. DJ Chark's a guy, I remember the combine ran a 4.31. Loved this guy at LSU. Never panned out. Solid number 2 type of wide receiver. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, another solid number 2 wide receiver. TJ Hawkinson could be a Pro Bowl tight end. It wouldn't surprise me if DeAndre Swift leads a team in receptions. So Swift will get catches, but they like Jamal Williams too much. Let Swift get 100. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Swift ends up getting 100, and Jamal Williams can still have 150 to 200 touches. But that's one of the things I want to know about in preseason is how much are these guys playing? Is Jamal Williams really going to be the number one running back? That's going to be interesting. Kazir White, Nakobe Dean, Hassan Reddick. Yeah, there's some things to like in Philly, man. If you're a Philly fan, you really should get excited. Slasher, like I said last week, my Lions will win week 1, but you guys will win in the rematch of the wild card weekend. Wow. We got Funk is always optimistic. 13 wins, 3 year in a row. The Chiefs, your Chiefs and my Chiefs, 4 straight AFC championship games at Arrowhead. That's a good thing. That we want number 5. One thing me and you agree upon, but so I talked a lot about the Lions offense, but the defense I feel really has to really improve. And I thought Hutchinson, I've been predicting Hutchinson going to Detroit at number 2 since I think February. He's really got to improve that front 7 immediately. And by the way, if you're wondering, has a player drafted number 2 overall as a defensive end or outside linebacker position elevated a team to Super Bowl status? Well, Nick Bosa did that. Nick Bosa was the number 2 pick overall. And the next year, San Francisco went to the Super Bowl. Funk, if the Lions draft Hutchinson number 2 overall and you get to a Super Bowl and lose against your Kansas City Chiefs, wouldn't you be happy with that? Wouldn't you be happy with that? I know I would be. But you need some other things to happen. But you need to have Aiden Hutchinson really needs to help transform that front 7 into a good unit. One thing I hated about watching the Detroit Lions is that I watch their front 7 just have no speed, no athleticism at all. Ozarike was a guy that he was the only guy that they drafted last year who really didn't play all that well. He was banged up, sat out, due to COVID. If he takes a step up, plus with Hutchinson, you got some talent there on that defensive line. Jeff Okudah, third pick overall. He's a guy that he's a guy that needs to play like he was the 3rd overall pick. He needs to be like a Pro Bowl type corner. There's some things to like in Detroit. I pulled up the roster here, and here's the drill. The offensive line continues to improve and stays healthy. Hawkinson stays healthy. DJ Chark stays healthy. He's never been able to do that, but he has that deep speed. Williams regains his form before he got injured, and Hutchinson plays like the Heisman runner-up that he was. I mean, I go back through history. When's a defensive lineman finished second in the Heisman balloting? Well, the last time somebody finished second in the Heisman balloting and was chosen second overall, that player's Ndamukong Suh. And somebody else, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last person to do that was Ndamukong Suh. A lot of people feel like he should have won Heisman that year. He didn't have a bad couple of years in Detroit. So Williams, without being on the field, has been literally following coaches like a puppy with his ball. Dude literally hasn't. That is awesome. Devontae Smith or Jameson Williams. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. Smith played all 17 games as a rookie. Really a lot tougher than people think. You're gonna hate me for saying this, Slasher, but I really feel like Smith's a guy who's really this is a guy who's really best suited to be Robin, not Batman. Forgive the analogy, but A.J. Brown needs to be the star, and Devontae Smith needs to be the number 2 guy. All right, so you got A.J. Brown needs to be number 1. Devontae Smith needs to be number 2. And that's what I think Devontae Smith is. And it sucks because, like, hey, you win Heisman Trophy and you're the number 2 guy, but that's what needs to happen. That's really what needs to happen. And with the Detroit Lions, on the other hand, Williams needs to be Batman. All right, Williams needs to be the number 1 guy. So KC can, whatever the AFC West will let them, but Green Bay needs to be done. They've been dominant in the division since it's had a different. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, man. It is going to be interesting to see what they do. It's going to be very interesting. The NFC North is going to be a lot of fun. You got 2 new coaches. Bringing in 2 different philosophies. A lot of people feel like Minnesota is going to be successful and Chicago won't, but you don't know. You don't know. Without question, the Detroit Lions got better. A lot of people like Green Bay definitely got worse. I'm not so sure. That they got worse, but I mean, are they going to win 13 games again? I don't know. Schedule's tough. Williams looks faster on tape. His start and stop route is insane. Funk Williams 100% faster, but I think Smith is definitely a better route runner. He's going to be a true deep threat, almost Tyreek Hill-like. St. Brown is our Smith. Yeah, Hatter's House 710, man. Yes. Well, they're really different types of players. I'm probably out. Well, last year I definitely outweighed Smith. St. Brown's a guy who you would have to tell me, but I think he played at like 205, 210. Kind of looks like a running back almost. But I think they're 2 different types of players. Smith, I think, plays more. Hines Ward, yeah, that would be a much better. I mean, you're kind of raising the bar. He's not that good, but he's more of that type of player. Smith, last year, I'm about 170, 175. And I'm pretty sure I outweighed Devontae Smith, but he showed a world of toughness last year. Didn't miss a single game. If the Lions have health, they may have one of the best supporting casts for a QB in the NFC. From starting O-line to starting 5 weapons is pretty nasty looking. I mean, Josh Reynolds is now wide receiver number 4. Yeah, you're right. They picked. I forgot about Josh Reynolds. I didn't even talk about him. But yeah, he moves to wide receiver number 4. He was probably, when he signed, he was maybe wide receiver number 1. Ideally, Reynolds is number 4, and I say that because it's unlikely if you go by past experience that DJ Chark's going to play all 17. I mean, more than likely he's probably going to play between 10 and 12. I mean, that's what he's done his entire career. If you play 17, you're getting a star. Maybe a star. You're getting a stud. A really good player. Can't stay healthy. Never been able to stay healthy. Jameson Williams, a guy, of course, coming off a very severe injury. Hopefully he comes back and plays like the player he did at Alabama. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, he's a guy who consistently got better and better and better. Hopefully there's some more room to improve. I think that his ceiling is still a number 2 guy in the NFL, but that's not a bad thing, man. Being hey, look, you're a solid number 2 in the NFL. That's not a bad thing. Hawkinson has all the potential to be a Pro Bowler. I still think DeAndre Swift. I think if you're the Lions, you want this guy to have about 100 catches. I really believe that. And when I say 100 catches, 100 carries, and then Williams can still lead the team in carries. There's nothing wrong if Williams has 200 carries and DeAndre Swift has 100. Nothing wrong with that at all. AJ Brown, best receiver in the NFC East. You're not going to like this. Maybe. I'll be honest. He was banged up last year. I would probably say McCurran. He's holding out right now, and he's got to play. Maybe McCurran. I don't know, man. I would say McCurran or AJ Brown. A lot of people want to say CD Lamb, but I saw Lamb drop a lot of passes. He's going to be the number one guy in Dallas this year. Last year, he was the number 2 guy. And when he gets the ball in his hands, he's dynamic, drops a lot of passes, doesn't really run a full route tree, but he's got to take a big step up. I don't know, man. McCurran's really good. He's better than Terry. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. McCurran, you have to understand something. Like, quarterback situation in Washington was abysmal. How he would do, and by the way, you have no idea what you're going to see in Carson Wentz. Is he going to be a guy who's going to fold under pressure, or is he going to be a guy? I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, you could see the talent, but I mean, 3 teams in 3 years, it's weird, man. It's really weird. It's really weird. I think it's a questionable thing. I mean, if you want to sit here and say cut and dry, AJ Brown's better than McCurran, I don't think you can do that. I think it's debatable. By the way, I love AJ Brown. I love AJ Brown. I have one of my favorite players. Didn't play. I think he sat out 4 games. He was banged up throughout the whole season, but I think he missed 4 games. If both him and McCurran play 17, that's a tough one, man. I'll be honest, that's a tough one. But McCurran's sitting out, and AJ got his money. I like AJ definitely. Well, oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's really no debate. Let's look at the top 3 in any order. CD Lamb, who I would have as number 3, McCurran, and then AJ. I'm not sure which one's better, McCurran or AJ. That's a tough one. If both play 17 games, probably AJ. Denver Gator, what's up? We have not talked about your Denver Broncos yet. Oh, yeah, Wentz ain't any better. We've seen his peak already. That's another thing, is that you really don't know what you're going to get out of Wentz. I think it's kind of a weird situation. But, yeah, I mean, 3 teams in 3 years, it's just weird, man. The quarterback situation on all NFC East teams is sketchy. The best guy is overpaid. I think so. I think so. And then, what do you got? What do you got in Philly, man? Is Hurts really the guy? Is he really the guy? I have no idea. It's going to be fun, man. The quarterback situation is going to be a lot of fun in the NFC East. It's going to be a lot of fun. Honestly, it's close. They've had very similar seasons. The only thing is Brown has, he does have a lot more touchdowns. That's not debatable. But yeah, those 3, and CD Lamb for me would be number 3. I don't think there's any Cowboys fans here, but if there was, somebody would say CD Lamb. That's just how Cowboys fans are. Not making fun of Cowboys fans. Lost track of time. Put in some comedy specials. John Penn. I don't know who that is, man. I don't know who that is. Next up is my out of all the teams, I expect to go worst to first. Now, technically, they tied with Cleveland, but the way it works out is that the Ravens were considered the 4th best team in the AFC North due to tie-breaking situations. Out of all the teams that could go first to worst, this is the team that I think is most likely to do it, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. Actually, today, right now, I have the Ravens winning this division. The reason why is that a lot of players were banged up early. They lost their starting 2 running backs in preseason. They lost Marcus Peters in preseason. There's somebody else who they lost as well. It was just comical. And in the beginning, they overcame it, and then it just got too much. The division was brutal. But really, if Peters stays healthy, he doesn't have an injury history. A lot of people in Kansas City hate Marcus Peters. He was one of my favorite players. Still one of my favorite players. Love this guy. Creates turnovers. What else do you want? You got a big physical corner, creates turnovers. What do you want? He's really the number 2 guy in Baltimore. Marlon Humphrey. I thought Marlon Humphrey was going to become maybe the best corner in football. Had some injuries, but really didn't step up to the plate, but still has all the tools to be the number 1 corner, not just in Baltimore. I'm talking number 1 NFL. He has all the tools to overtake Jalen Ramsey. Really didn't do it last year. It's actually, I didn't even touch base on this, Funk, so I apologize. But Deshaun Elliott from Baltimore added a lot of toughness at secondary. He's now with the Lions. Could be a big signing. But one thing is he's going to be replaced by Kyle Hamilton. Probably an upgrade. No offense on Deshaun Elliott, but Kyle Hamilton, easily the number 1 safety. I always believe that this is a pure strong safety. A lot of people in the draft thought this was a Derwin James type player. He's really not, but in Baltimore, he's going to play strong safety. Could be a Pro Bowler year 1. I have no idea why Jason changed his name to Adafe, but all the potential in the world, and now he's going to step in. Last year, he wasn't ready, so they signed Justin Houston, a guy that would look great in a Chiefs uniform. I'm just going to say, all the talent in the world. Let's see how he plays year number 2. Calais Campbell re-signed. One of my favorite draft picks was Travis Jones. This defense could be really, 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 really good. But the offense is really what impresses me. J.K. Dobbins, I thought, could have had a monster year. He got injured in preseason. He's going to come back. He's going to be 100% when the season starts. Bateman was the guy who missed, I think it was the first 6 games of the season, but he was their first-round pick. Started to really step up towards the end of the year. Mark Andrews, really good tight end. Not on the level of Kelsey and Kittle when healthy, but still really, really good player. I feel like I'm taking something away from him. But out of all the teams, Baltimore is my team that I predict will go first. Worst to first. Bottom line, I think they're going to win that division as of today, as of right now. They are, I think, the most likely team to go worst to first. And as of right now, I got them winning the NFC North. So Hurts has gotten better every single season, whether it's high school, college, or pros. So yeah, I hope so too, because he's a lot of fun to watch. But what I loved most is that when he got benched and Tua took over and won the national championship, who was the first person to agree to give him a hug? Jalen Hurts. And I pulled for Jalen Hurts. I will always pull for Jalen Hurts after I saw that. Goes to Oklahoma, got better. Before the draft, I thought maybe 5th, 6th round pick. Went to the combine, changed his throwing motion completely. From the end of his last season at Oklahoma to the combine, got a whole world better. And then I watched the interview of him on the whiteboard, was better than any quarterback in the draft. Just aced the whiteboard. aced the interviews. And I was thinking this guy might go in the second round. And then when Philly took him high in the second, I was like, this is stupid. You got Carson Wentz. Why would you want to draft a guy who could overtake him? Well, this is why you do it. It's because you got rid of Wentz. I'm pulling for Jalen Hurts. I will always pull for Jalen Hurts. Always pull for Jalen Hurts. Slasher, yeah, in about 7 years, he may be a top 20 quarterback. You weren't saying that before the draft. If he was a Lion, you wouldn't be saying that. But yeah, he is a true box. He is a true box safety. And that's what Baltimore's going to use him as. I thought if he got drafted by the Lions at number 2 and you wanted to use him as that chess piece, then that would be a big fail. But yeah, he's a box safety, and that's how Baltimore's going to use him. That's how Baltimore's going to use him. And he's going to probably play really well too. But is he a guy who can play sideline to sideline like people think he is? No, he's not. You're all right. Funk, that's not true. He's already top 20. His situation wasn't ideal. Thrown into a storm with a rookie coaching team, a very young supporting group, and they're forcing him to throw a lot in the first couple of weeks. If I'm being brutally honest, he's already on par with Goff wins Tua. Okay. Wentz, when you guys won the Super Bowl, was an MVP candidate. All right, I got like a fruit fly. I got like a fruit fly going around. I'm trying to kill. It's because I have this empty energy drink can, I think. Anyway, whatever. Is he that high? No. Is he on the level of Wentz now? I mean, you really don't know what you're getting with Wentz. I would put him below Goff today, but he has more upside, in my opinion, and he could be at the end of the season. And then Tua, he's on par with Tua. So. Pinette, longtime fat comedian famous for the Chinese buffet owner kicking him out because he ate too much. You've been here for 4 hours. I don't know who it is, man. I'll do me a favor. Send me like a if you don't mind. I'm sorry, that was kind of rude of me. If you can send me something, send me a link. I'll watch it. I haven't watched the whole thing. The link you sent me. By the way, thank you so much. By the way, if you follow me on social media and there's any clips that you want to send me, Denver Gator sent me a really cool YouTube video of how each team got their stadium, and I didn't watch the whole thing yet. It was part of I'm a subscribed to that YouTube channel. It's like NFL history or something like that. But how each team got its name. And I skipped to Kansas City, and then right after Kansas City was the Chargers. And by the way, if you haven't seen the clip for the Chargers, it's one of my all-time favorite clips. It's a stewardess doing the "You're now boarding the Air Coryell offense with Captain Dan Fouts." It is one of the coolest things. But by the way, watching some Air Coryell clips with Dan Fouts is like porn to me. I mean, if you haven't seen it, watch some Dan Fouts Air Coryell offense. It's better than porn. I cannot get enough of the Air Coryell Fouts offense. I mean, it's like some of the best stuff you ever watch. Is phenomenal. I can't get enough of that. So like right after the Chiefs, they showed the Chargers, and then and then the first thing it does is as the girl stewardess. Please tell me that you can still call them stewardesses. Am I showing my age? Yeah, it's a stewardess. So anyway, I'm not even going to do the voice, but it's so awesome. It's seriously, it's better than porn. It really is. Goff, Wentz, and Tua are late 20s. They all suck. Saying he's not. God, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. God is Hurts top 20. That's a tough one, Funk. I would put Goff top 20. I don't know about Tua. Nobody knows about Tua. Nobody knows about Wentz. I would put Goff in top 20. I don't know about Wentz or Tua. And Hurts, I have no idea. That's a tough one, man. And I kind of want to go through all 32 NFL starting quarterbacks and rank them now. Obviously, me and you both agree Mahomes would be number one. We both agree there. But I wonder, does Hurts make 20? So Denver, you be here for I don't know who this guy is, man, but yeah. Nice shirt, one of my top favorite movies, especially the soundtrack. Oh man, thanks, brother. Yeah, I will watch it. I love Quentin Tarantino. Not too long ago, I saw The Hateful Eight. Loved it. I think I love all of his movies, but this is one of my favorite. I got this super cheap, and it is one of my favorite shirts, man. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. It was actually fun. Speaking of movies, I finally saw, it was this week or last week. What was it? The Kurt Warner movie. You guys know what I'm talking about. I finally saw that. It was kind of cool because Dennis Quaid plays Dick Vermeil. And I got a kick out of that because remember he played the quarterback in Any Given Sunday. Any Given Sunday is my favorite football movie. Loved Any Given Sunday. And so it's kind of cool because he was the starting quarterback for the Miami Sharks, and now he's Dick Vermeil. Anyway, it's not a bad movie. I skipped around a bunch of it because I knew all the stuff that was going on, but they did go through it. He refused to go in when he was a Packer, and he didn't know the offense, or he didn't feel like he was ready. And I actually knew that story. It's funny because Brett Favre says like they after he was cut, they joked around all off season. That was like a running joke is like, nah, go in Favre. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to set out this one. And anyway, and also it's kind of funny that quarterback, the quarterback group, you had Warner, Mark Brunell, Ty Detmer, Brett Favre. There was like three other, I think it was Hasselback was in there. It was like a bunch of stars. It was a really good group. Real good group. Not a bad movie. No surprises. I mean, I knew almost everything. They took clips from the NFL. It was kind of weird because they showed like the 99 season. They showed that in like, I don't know, like 7 minutes, and 5 of it was that very first game against the Ravens. And anyway, it wasn't bad. Hamilton is going to play really smoothly in a high safety set. Well, actually, he's going to be Baltimore's going to use him in the box quite a bit. He's going to replace Deshaun Elliott, who went to Detroit. I didn't even talk about that, but Deshaun Elliott's a really good pickup for Detroit that I didn't really talk about, but really solid pickup. But yeah, he's going to take over, but he's going to be a box safety. And I didn't touch base on that, but he's going to replace Elliott. He's going to do a good job. Funk, yeah, but that's not terrible for Hurts' first year, considering he hasn't had the same offensive coach for more than 1 year since high school. He's getting comfortable and still learning. Yeah, he is still learning. It's a growing experience. He didn't play bad. If I had to rank the top quarterback starters, I don't know where I would put Hurts at. It's a great question. So, I hope he pans out. Yeah, he does. And if he doesn't, the Eagles have 2 first-round picks in next year's draft, which they will use to get a quarterback. Good luck. Yeah, I hope it works out. Reservoir. Oh God, that's a good one. Every time I hear that song, you know what song I'm talking about. I'm not going to sing it, but anytime I hear that song, I always picture Mark Madsen, right? I always picture him. Dude, he cuts off the dude's ear. I'm like, damn, and he pours gasoline on him. I'm serious. Okay, when he pours gasoline on him after he cuts off the ear, I do like, oh God, I'm picturing the burn, how much that's got to sting. And oh God, that is such a great movie, man. Great movie. It was actually funny. I was watching this thing on Tarantino, and he just wanted to work with all of his buddies. That's why he has the same group of actors that are in almost every one of his films. But in Pulp Fiction, I'm trying to think here. How many times has he had John Travolta in one of his movies? I'm drawing a blank. I know he wasn't in Hateful Eight. I know he wasn't in Reservoir Dogs. But oh man, Back in the Middle. That's it. Oh yeah. Every time I hear that, I always picture Mark Madsen doing his little dance and cutting off that dude's ear. Great movie, man. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% funk. One of the best scenes. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, Baltimore lost Chris Board too. Just I didn't touch base on that. They're still my favorite to go from worst to first. Yeah, we'll send off like 2 firsts and probably a third to go get Stroud or Young. You never know. If it doesn't work out, then that could happen. One of my all-time favorite Twitter followers. You don't follow me. Denver Gator does. Me and Denver Gator chat on Twitter. One of the guys I follow on Twitter does sports betting. Probably the guy I respect more than anybody else on as far as sports betting is concerned is he made a bet, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. I think he bet $1,000 and got 40-1 odds on the Kentucky quarterback going number 1. So he bet $1,000. He's one of the few guys that if I disagree with one of his bets, that I'll go back and like make sure that I'm right. I will match my football knowledge against his any day of the week. He bets on everything, but he bet $1,000 on the Kentucky quarterback going number 1. And then Caesars dropped the odds from 40-1 to either 20-1 or 25-1 after that $1,000 bet. But that Kentucky quarterback, I'm pulling for this guy to win. I mean, it's $40,000. That's kind of a cool bet, but he has to be the number 1 pick in 2023, but there's several quarterbacks that are probably going top 10. And I'll be honest, the guy who I think is going to go number 1 is the Miami quarterback, Alex Van Dyke. I mean, that guy, I watched him play last year. I'm like, oh my God. But I saw a mock draft where actually the mock draft had Stroud going number 3 to Detroit. I think it was Stroud that went number 1, and then that Kentucky quarterback was in the top 10, and so was Alex Van Dyke. But on the mock drafts I've seen so far for 2023, there's like 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. So Board is here in Detroit. That's why I mentioned him losing there. I didn't bring him up, and I probably should have, but yeah, Detroit made some good. You know what? I didn't really look at it. I didn't really think about it. But as I'm looking at the roster, and I'm using ESPN right now just because it was easy and I was forgetting names. I was really impressed with like some of the things that could happen with Detroit. I'm looking at this. I'm like, man, this defense. I mean, this front 7 doesn't look bad at all. I mean, they got some speed. They got some athleticism. I'm looking at that wide receiver unit, which I tried explaining to Luke G last year, is that out of the 32 teams in the NFL, if you're like, this is 1, this is 32, and then the difference between 31 and the 32, 31st and the 32nd receiving core was 31 here and Detroit here. Detroit had such a terrible receiving core last year. Can't say that now. You got Williams, you got DJ Chark, you got Reynolds. And now it's like, hey, if you had to list the 32nd, 1 through 32 as far as receiving cores, Detroit's definitely not 32 this year. Or last year they definitely were. So I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be excited here, man. I mean, I'm going to dive more into detail starting July 18th when I break down teams 1 through 32. In May, I'm just taking some time off. I'm enjoying myself. Actually, I went up to Iowa. Again. I found this hole in the wall place, the world's greatest fudge. I don't even like fudge. It was that good. Slasher, what's crazy is I can see the Lions and Eagles both trying to move up for a quarterback next year. Definitely could happen. Quarterback, yeah. I'm telling you guys to watch out for Kentucky quarterback Levi Zerts. Yeah, a guy who I absolutely love and respect put $1,000 on him to be the number 1 pick in the 2023 draft. And the odds changed from 40-1 to either 20 or 25. I'll follow you and shoot you a message. I'll show you my bets today. Okay. If you haven't put money down, if you've already put money down, there's nothing I can do about it. But if you haven't done it yet, slow down. And the reason why is look at the Baltimore Ravens. What happened in preseason? They got like 5 starters that got injured, right? Look at the Jets. All right, the Jets' 2 starting defensive ends, both of them went down with injuries in preseason. Don't make bets yet. You don't know what's going to happen in preseason. You have limited preseason. You have you have OTAs. These are non-practice. These are non-contact drills. You don't know what's going to happen. If you've already made the bets, good, great. I nothing I can do. Sorry, I'm losing my voice already. Don't make the bets already. You don't know what's going to happen in preseason. All right. You got a running quarterback. All right. If Jalen Hurts falls down in preseason, everything on this team changes. With the Browns, who's going to play quarterback? You don't know. Don't make bets yet. If you haven't already, if you've already made them, all right, fine. Don't worry about it. If you haven't done it, don't do it. Breece Hall's offensive rookie of the year. I like it a lot. He's my favorite. He's my favorite. Normally it's a quarterback, but he's my favorite. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Van Dyke and Levi's may end up being quarterback 1. And yeah, absolutely. And we haven't even mentioned Stroud or I drew a blank on the Alabama quarterback. And the one thing about the Alabama quarterback is people are overlooking he's like 6'9", 190. How many NFL quarterbacks are 190? I mean, people are assuming this is going to be a top 10 pick, but if you're an NFL team, do you want to draft a guy who's 190 in the top 5? Do you really want to draft a quarterback who's 190? Is that really what you're doing? And even though I was not on board at all. I was completely not on board at all. We're completely ignoring Spencer Rattler. Like, this was the guy everybody had at preseason number 1, but he may get into that conversation. Funky Lions fan, yes, something I could definitely see happen early in the draft. I'm being honest, I like Stroud more than Young, but so similar to him. Stroud over Young all day. Oh, the Blitz predicts, man. Can't wait to make some awesome. Yes, we need a. I'm sorry. I'm between now and July. I'm taking some time off. I'm doing some traveling. This month alone, I've been to Denver. I was going to meet up with Denver Gator, but he saw my video on my draft grades, threatened to punch me in the face, refused to hang out with me. But not a lot of people liked my draft prediction videos. But yeah, we're going to get together starting in July. I'm going to do videos on all 32 teams. I'm going to break down 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like, and then I'm going to go over to over-unders with all 32 teams, and we're going to get together. If you missed my video last week or 2 weeks ago, I went over week 1 predictions. There's 5 games I like week 1. We will get together. Hopefully we can do a combo. We can do a combo, man. Great to see you, man. Do you really like the Ravens without a true number 1? Lamar can do it. But they have a tough schedule this year too. Absolutely. And I'll tell you why they did it. They did it just 2 years ago. They won the division 2 years ago. And I thought last year as a whole, they actually got better. Then they got all those injuries in preseason, but I really like this team a lot. I think the Bengals are definitely going to take a step. You know, it's funny because I want to say they're definitely going to take a step back because that's what teams do when you have 5 consecutive losing seasons and you spike up. It's just, you know, you go up and then you go down. That's just normal. But they've improved their team. All right. Pittsburgh is a team nobody's talking about, but they actually got better. They got significantly better, and they went to the playoffs last year. Cleveland, who knows what the fuck's going to happen with them? But the Ravens, yeah, I really do, man. I really do. I you know what? It's a minute 35. I'm already losing my voice. So I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna do these real fast here. I'm gonna talk about Jacksonville. I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail. Jacksonville, I love their coaching selection. Love the coaching hire. Okay. Love the coaching hire. It's going to take at least a year. They're just, it's so much change. Urban Meyer's a complete disaster. They're going to take a year. Carolina's a team that could really shock people. And the reason why is that they leaked out. Everybody was on board with them getting a quarterback. Then they did the smart move and improved the offensive line. CMC stays healthy. Darnold lives up to his potential, and a ton of youth on that defense. This is a team that's got the talent to really make a big step up. Are they going to overtake Tampa Bay? Absolutely not. But could they surprise people and finish second? Could they? Are they better than the Falcons? Yeah, I think they are right now today. Yeah. Could they overtake the Saints? Possible. Definitely possible. This is a team that you got to be careful about, because they got a lot of youth and a lot of talent on that defense. CMC, when healthy, is a top 5 running back. Ever since he changed his body style from 195 to 220, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. For those of you who remember Reggie Bush, he did the same thing, couldn't stay healthy. If CMC can stay healthy, one top 5 running back. Darnold has a world of potential, it's never panned out. Yeah, I know, man. But me and the Blitz are going to get together. We are going to get together. We're going to double team a lot of these things. I apologize. I should have reached out to you sooner, but we will. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Yes. Follow me on social media. All my social media links will be below. I'm old, so I use Facebook a lot, but I followed Denver Gator on Twitter. He sent me some videos. He sent me a video on the NFL history. I'm a junkie about that, and I loved it. I haven't watched the whole thing. I skipped to Kansas City, then I watched the Chargers because they had that old Air Coryell offense, which is better than porn. It really is. I love that stuff. Anyway, follow me, and then if you need any help, also. I had the notifications go directly to my phone. I asked for 24 hours. Ideally, I can get back to you sooner. But as far as both of those picks, I love the Breece Hall. Also, I have this year, I'm going to make all my picks in Iowa. So I downloaded the Barstool app. And I'm going to do some betting 101 videos. I haven't done that yet. I've been kind of enjoying traveling this month and taking some time off, just kind of recharge my jets. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do some gambling 101 videos. And I've been toying around with making kind of a joke video, just something for entertaining or fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. We'll see. We'll see. I may not do it. I don't know. 5'9", 190 young dude is built like a kick returner. I don't think he's 5'9". I think I'm hearing like 6'1", but like, do you really want to take a quarterback being 190, 195? I mean, I was thinking punter, but Doug is a great coach. Philly painted him terribly. Super Bowl winning coach. Yeah. I love the hire in Jacksonville, and I think it's going to work out. I said the same thing about Urban Meyer too. But I'm gonna say it again. I think it's going to work out. It's going to just take some time. But that division, I'll be honest, that AFC South I think is up for grabs. The one thing I will say is that Houston's a team that I think could really surprise people, and I didn't talk about it. But the final two teams I want to talk about, and I think both these teams could really. All right. NFC West, Seattle, AFC West, Denver. Okay. I'm going to read these comments. So I'm going to get into that. Everyone's saying the same thing about Smith being too small. I think Young will be okay as long as his college game correlates to the league. Does it? Now, okay, with Joe Burrow, it worked out. Okay. You're going to play with the most talent next year. This year at Alabama, he played with, if you want to say Ohio State, I'd say fine. But when I say talent, I'm also including the offensive line. He's going to play with more talent than anybody else in college football. And if you want to say C.J. Stroud with Ohio State last year, I would say they had more skill position talent than Alabama. And that's debatable. That is debatable. It's a legitimate debate, but I would say skill position talent, Ohio State, overall offensive talent, because remember, their left tackle, he went 7th overall, and he could have gone number 1. I'd say Bama. And he's going to have more talent than any other college football team. Okay. The talent that he's going to have at Alabama, period, is going to be more than he's going to have in the NFL. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but it is. I mean, seriously, he's going to have 10 starters that are going to have an average draft grade of early second round. He's going to play with several guys that are going to go early first. And then at worst, the worst guy he's going to have starting for him at Alabama is probably going to go in the 3rd round. Not hyperbole. They're that good. They really are that good. So when he goes to the NFL and everything's on an even scale, can he adjust? Joe Burrow did. Can he do it? And that's the question. I love when Peterson have the middle finger to Philly for throwing the last game. Yeah. Gambling 101 in 10 seconds. Always bet on a sure thing. Always remember there's no such thing as a sure thing. In the great word of Wesley Snipes, always bet on black. You're welcome. All right. There's a lot of hype about Denver. All right. A lot of hype. Russell Wilson's coming in. Gave a ton of money to Randy Gregory. The one thing nobody's talking about is Bradley Chubb, one of my favorite players, just an absolute beast if he can stay healthy. Justin Simmons, just an amazing safety. Last year, in the Wild Wild West, the Denver Broncos had the 3rd best scoring defense. It was like the first time a top 3 scoring defense didn't make the playoffs in like, it was like 20 or 30 years. Defense obviously taking a step back. Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds in football. I'm not sure where he went or if he's taking a year off or what have you. The defense will take a step back. Definitely take a step back. First-time head coach. And you get to battle Andy Reid. I hate saying this because I feel like a homer, but I think Andy Reid's one of the top 10 coaches of all time. I really believe this. Definitely one of the top 10 offensive minds. So you got first-time head coach going against Andy Reid. Now, you can say Josh McDaniel, who is not a first-time head coach, but he's new to the Raiders. He coached for Denver for a couple of years, made a lot of mistakes in Denver. I think that's a good hire. I think it's actually one of the best hires. I'm drawing a blank on the Chargers head coach. I knew he wasn't. People were hyped up about the Chargers being the team to beat, and I'm like, dude, you get a brand new head coach. You don't know what you're getting. I don't think Chargers are going to the playoffs, and I was right. They were better than I thought they would be. They were better, but that team got better. The expectations are high in Denver, but you have a first-time head coach. And going into the AFC West, it's not. Here's the thing: he's the fourth best head coach in this division today, right now. Could he be a genius? Could he do the same thing that the Green Bay head coach did? Drawing a blank on his name too. Drawing a lot of blanks on names. It's the energy drink, not cocaine. Russell Wilson was on last year's team under Vic Fangio. They win 10 games, they go to the playoffs. No doubt. This year, I don't know. But you got a future Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson. You got some skill position talent. I think Denver needs to be a run-heavy team, and that's what I saw from Green Bay last year. A lot of people don't realize this, but they actually ran the ball quite a bit. It's just Aaron Rodgers won MVP. But, I mean, this wasn't Aaron Rodgers throwing 60, 70 times a game. They actually ran the ball. It's pretty balanced offense. And that's kind of what you need to bring to Denver. Because if you do bring an offense where you want Russell Wilson to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game, if you want him to air it out against Herbert and air it out against Mahomes, you're in for a long season. This seems to be a run-heavy team for this to work. This is a team in Denver I'm really excited to watch for the offseason. So, yeah, I love it, man. I'm having fun here. I just want to come on, do some shows. But starting in July, my gold content's going to come out. I'm so happy that Blitz Predicts jumped on. Because I kind of wanted to get some collaborations, and Homeland, I'm glad he jumped on because I kind of want to get some people. And I've been during last week and this week, I took off and I went out of town. I've been enjoying my life and I think I'm done traveling, maybe. I don't know. But all I've been doing is I've been watching some football, but I haven't really dove into it hardcore like I'm going to after the 4th of July. It basically I'll just be doing tons of football research. After the 4th of July. Between now and the 4th of July, I consider this like my off season. But after the 4th of July, I'm going to be doing a ton of research. And then July 18th till the start of the regular season, I'm going to be making a ton of videos. But I will have a few videos coming out in the next couple weeks. Maybe a comedy video I've been toying around with. And then I'm going to have some Gambling 101 videos that I want to come out. Definitely Gambling 101 videos in the next couple of weeks. Maybe a comedy video. Maybe I'm biased because he was my coach, but Andy Reid, I think so. And I'm probably a little biased too. Yeah, I mean, you have a first-time head coach. All right, Staley. That's who I was thinking of. You get Josh McDaniels, learned from his mistakes, went to New England, and I think that when you have a second chance, it sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but I think it's a good situation. The Raiders were a playoff team, had that whole Gruden getting fired thing. They really rallied and it worked out. And I mean, hey, look, they're a fourth down play away from taking the Bengals to overtime. And if they get into overtime, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. But they went to the playoffs. I think they got better. They added one of the best receivers in football, so it's going to be interesting. Chargers definitely added some players. They should be better. Should. But you got Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches of all time. You know, I think he's definitely top 10. Slasher says he's 8. We're both biased. But somebody else would have to answer, where do you put Andy Reid all time? I think definitely. I think top 10, definitely top 20. So a rookie first-time head coach going to Denver, you look, man, you're in for a dogfight, man. Seattle, nobody's talking about. Seattle, nobody's talking about. But this is a team that may be scary good. They've really needed to change that defense for a long time. That was something Pete Carroll just kept going with his guys and his scheme. Now, keep in mind, the Legion of Boom defense worked really good when you had multiple Hall of Famers on that defense, but that's gone. So they've been needing to make some changes. But you lost your 2 best players, 2 of the greatest players in Seahawk history, Bobby Wagner. People do not realize how good this guy is. When you talk about greatest middle linebackers of all time, you don't say Bobby Wagner, but you should. He goes to the Rams. You know he's going to play really hard against the Seahawks. Russell Wilson playing against Seattle week 1. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun game. But nobody's talking about Seattle. Russell Wilson was banged up when he came back. He still wasn't the same guy. They still won 7 games, despite having a bad, predictable defense. That defense is going to change. Rashad Penny didn't live up to that first round expectations, but the last half of the season, he was a top 5 running back. A lot of people don't know that. He finally morphed. Rashad Penny was one of my all-time favorite players, but when he was drafted 20th overall by the Seahawks, I was like, wait a minute, Nick Chubb's on the board. Why don't you take him? They should have took Nick Chubb. But the last half of the season, he was a top 5 running back. Chris Carson's coming back. They drafted Kenneth Walker. Still got maybe the best duo of wide receivers in the National Football League. Minnesota can argue. Trying to think of who else would argue that. I maybe the Rams could argue that, maybe. It's a legitimate argument. I would put Seattle over the Rams, but I mean, you know, it's a legitimate argument. I think Drew Lock should have started in Denver last year. I've been adamant about saying that. I think he's going to win the job, and I think he's going to play a lot better than people think. The biggest question mark I have about Seattle's offense is they're going to have 2 rookies at the tackle positions. Charles Cross, great fit at left tackle. The guy, he played left tackle at Washington State. He's going to play right tackle. Look, your rookie, you have 2 rookie tackles. They play good. This team's going to be a lot better than people think. If they play well, this team's going to be a lot better, because I think it's going to be a run-heavy team that can go deep. And people forget Drew Lock as he's got arm talent. He's got a lot of arm talent. A lot of arm talent. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Should have been the Denver starter last year. How do I know? Everybody got fired. Bridgewater's in Miami. Fangio, I don't know where he is. Everybody got fired. So yeah. I'm glad. I'm Denver Gator, for those of you who don't know, is a big Chiefs fan. The name throws you off. Big Chiefs fan. When you're in Denver, I gathered a few fans have an intervention for you. It was to address your issues of getting high before your draft grades. I still believe in you. See you at the next NFL. It's a kick in the nuts. They drafted Crosses. Yeah. Well, actually, okay, here's the drill. Dwayne Brown was a very good left tackle, but his contract was up. Instead of re-signing him, they drafted Cross at 9. And I think he'll be like, of all the other 2 tackles drafted before him aren't as day one ready, but the other 2 tackles have much more upside. So, but Cross, day one starter, he'll be fine. The guy on the right side out of Washington State, I mean, he's local, so you should know him. He's 3rd round pick. He's a day one starter. It's going to be a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. You better be right. So it's Cross, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but he's going to be a day one starter on the right side, and he's a rookie. So, I mean, yeah. If those 2 guys play well, and the defense is middle of the pack, which it very well could be. It could actually be top 10, but I'm going to say middle of the pack, and those 2 tackles play well, this team's going to the playoffs. I'm telling you right now. This is a team nobody's talking about, but could be better. But asking 2 rookies to play at a high level right away is very tough. It's very tough. But I think that what Seattle's going to do is have a very simplistic offense. I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense. And I think Locke's going to win the job. And then I think they'll ask Locke to go deep. And he's got a couple really good receivers. And everybody knows about DK Metcalf, but Lockett's actually the better receiver. He's actually the better receiver. He really is. And by the way, there's some Denver fans on social media. And then, by the way, there's been all sorts of stupid stuff on Chiefs social media, so I'm not picking on Denver fans, but there's people that feel like the Denver Broncos receivers are better than the Seattle receivers. No. Like, some people feel like Judy would be I saw somebody post on Twitter, maybe Denver Gator saw the same thing, where Jerry Judy would be the number 1 wide receiver on Seattle. And it's like, no, he would be number 3. But still 3 versus 2. But last year they had I want to say Eskridge, SQ, the guy out, I want to say Central Michigan. He was banged up. He's a guy who will be like the starting punt kick returner. He'll be the number 3 wide receiver. He's got a lot of upside. But I think that's a potential. Who wins, Geno Smith or Drew Lock? And if it is Geno Smith, then Drew Lock. I think it'll be a big blow. But I think Drew Lock wins. And if those 2 rookie tackles play well. Another thing is, you have Rashad Penny, who was top 5 running back the last half of the season. You got Chris Carson, who's the starting running back, and then you drafted Kenneth Walker in the 2nd round. Kenneth Walker, for a large part of the college football season, was the Heisman front runner. This is a guy with a lot of upside. So, what are you going to do? You just have three running backs, all of them get carries, Anyway, preseason's just a few months away. So we'll find out. Let's go Lock dropping dimes in Metcalf, Fant, and Lockett. I forgot about Noah Fant, except, of course, week 1. But after that, 22nd man screaming locked in the Lock. He means 12th man. Yeah. Locked on the Lockett. A lot of people don't know this, but Lockett's actually the better receiver in Seattle. He's actually the better receiver. More ESPN big plays from DK Metcalf, but Lockett's actually the better receiver. And that's not an insult to DK Metcalf. That may change this year. This year, Metcalf may jump up and be the number 1 guy. DK Metcalf will make more ESPN plays. Lockett's a better player. I'll argue with anybody on that. Okay, I am almost losing my voice. It's been almost 2 hours. I didn't expect to talk this long, but I'm very jacked up and I enjoyed it. Guys, listen. If you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up. Follow me on social media. All my social media links are listed below. If you don't follow me on social media, follow me on social media. If you have a question or you don't use social media, you want to get a hold of me, you can email me. The notifications will go to my phone. I even got phone notification. But anyway, you can hit me up on social media, or you can email me. I'll get the notification on my phone. Give me 24 hours and I can email you back. Slasher, if you haven't made your bets yet, I'll help you out. If you just want my opinion, whatever, you can email me and I will get back to you. Follow me on social media and I will try to respond. If you leave a comment on any one of my YouTube videos, YouTube gets a little weird, but if I don't comment or at least give you a thumbs up on the comment, it's because YouTube did something weird. But anyway, drop a comment below. Give me a thumbs up in this video. I'll see you back next Friday.